Officers with CSX Railroad did stage and set up surveillance cameras on the property that alerted them of the third night in which the defendants returned to the property. At that time, the officers were able to apprehend 2 individuals who were on the property at that time, one of those individuals being Mr. Wise. Mr. Wise did, however, cooperate with CSX and did admit to his portion or his role with regard to the theft. He did admit to being the lookout for the theft. Mr. Wise does not have any felony convictions. He has some misdemeanors. And so with that, we are recommending a probated sentence for Mr. Wise. It would be 5 years probation for each offense to run concurrently with each other. We would reserve the right to have a restitution hearing. We would like to have time to secure evaluation. I know there was some difficulty obtaining what exactly was taken from the shipping containers. So I would like an opportunity for the state to prove that up, and then we would ask for the defendant to pay his portion of the restitution. Anti-theft course, 60 hours community service. Mr. Wise should obtain his GED and or remain employed if he has employment. And I am asking the court if we can do a stay away from all CSX yards. But I understand the court is not willing to accept that, but I would definitely ask that he stay away from all CSX yards in Fulton County.
Okay. Why did you think I'd be opposed to all CSX yards in Georgia?
Voluminous.
Oh, but just stay away from rail yards. I mean, to me, that's a pretty bright line one, like, unless he suddenly said, I'm going to be a rail operator. Okay. I got it. Thank you. Ms. Roberts, criminal history for Mr. Wise.
Show a total of 8 cycles. Did not show any felony convictions. He did have a by receiving stolen property arrest from 23 out of Clayton County, but there's no disposition listed.
Can you turn it up a little bit? You were kind of hard to hear. I think we have a bad connection with you. You said 8 cycles, no felonies, and then it got choppy.
A 2023 Clayton County arrest for theft by receiving stolen property, but there's no disposition listed on GCIC for that case.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Have a good weekend. Ms. Stewart.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Wise is 29 years old, and he is here today taking responsibility. Mr. Wise and I have spent a lot of time going over his case, including reviewing the evidence in the case, and I think Ms. Davis characterized it accurately, that Mr. Wise made a very poor decision to go with some people and kind of look out. We have spent a lot of time talking about party to a crime and what that means in Georgia, and how sometimes what it means in Georgia doesn't feel like what you think it maybe, you know, how you get charged that way. And when you do something that doesn't feel like it sounds like what you're indicted for, you might still have some issues at trial regarding that. I think that Mr. Wise has done a really good job throughout his life of trying to make good choices, and sometimes he's failed. I think he's in a position to want to continue to make good choices. This did occur almost 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, the 2-year anniversary was 20 days ago.
Yeah, so Mr. Wise, I think it speaks to his commitment to making better choices that over the past 2 years, he has stayed out of trouble. He has a 4-year-old and a 13-year-old for whom he is the primary caregiver. He is gainfully employed. He has recently been able to get a job as a supervisor of groundskeeping for a cemetery. And I think his life is on a really good trajectory. I think this is a good resolution. Ms. Davis and I spoke, and my understanding is she is not objecting to the request I'm going to make to the court to accept this plea pursuant to conditional discharge. I know it's not a drug case, but it is a nonviolent property theft crime, and Mr. Wise has been very frank with me that some of his challenges in making good decisions have been related to a prescription pill dependency that he has been left with from some other circumstances earlier in his life. So I do believe conditional discharge is statutorily appropriate. And we would ask the court to do that because the biggest concern, I think, that led us as far to this case to a motions consideration and hearing is the impact that we all know that a felony conviction can have. And so we would ask the court to consider that resolution. We do agree that a future restitution hearing would be appropriate if necessary. I do want to be clear that we are not, I need to do more looking at what it looks like. My understanding of reviewing the evidence in this case, as well as to listening to the testimony from Mr. Lemon's probation revocation hearing, is that the night that Mr. Wise was present on the CSX grounds as a lookout, nothing was actually taken from the containers. Full transparency with the court. I just don't know the law on that, on what you can be held responsible for monetarily if you didn't actually take it. And so I think a future restitution hearing would be appropriate. Just wanted to be transparent that I'm not necessarily agreeing that restitution is appropriate, but that we can consider that at a later date.
Okay, got it. Mr. Wise, well, before I pivot to you, so Ms. Stewart, you help me understand why you think conditional discharge applies. And that's different from first offender. And you are purposefully not asking for first offender, which is less of a stretch.
Mr. Full transparency, he has no felony convictions. He used first offender when he was 17 years old.
So he doesn't have that.
He doesn't have that option.
Okay.
And I have over the years, Judge, I don't have kind of the law at my fingertips. I've looked at this, and I do think that the statute allows it for non-violent property offenses, provided that there is some nexus between the drug use and why the event occurred. And I do believe that that is, and if we needed to, if the court needed more information from Mr. Wise about that, I think he'd be happy to volunteer it.
Okay. Let me look at something. Mr. Wise, what did you use your first offender on when you were 17? What was that case about? Burglary. And how recently did you become a supervisor, and at what cemetery?
Southview Cemetery, like about 4 months ago.
How's it going?
It's going great.
How many people do you supervise?
7.
That's a big crew.
Yeah, I'm a grader. I did grades.
Oh, you do?
Mhm.
Okay, well, good. Do you find it challenging to be responsible for other folks?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a good team?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been at that cemetery?
About 5 months.
Oh, so the whole time you've been there, you've been the supervisor.
I had came in, I filled the application out. I had my wife to fill the application out because I had lost my job for this case right here.
What was the job you lost?
Cemetery, I was working at Westview.
Oh, so you're a cemetery guy. Okay, how did you get into cemeteries?
My mom. She was going up there to visit my grandma, and I was 17, I was 18, and she had filled the application out for me, and she was like, you need to work instead of being at home every day. And I went up there, and the lady called me back the next day, and I've been there ever since.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about that. This sentencing hearing for Cartious Lacorn Wise delivered a thoughtful wrap-up to a serious set of burglary charges, 3 counts, to be exact, each tied to break-ins at a CSX railroad yard. But what made this hearing stand out wasn't the crime itself. It was how the court handled accountability with an eye toward redemption. Judge McBurney, the prosecution, and Wise's defense attorney, Miss Stewart, approached the case not like it was open and shut, but like it deserved nuance, especially considering Wise's past, present, and potential. Let's break down the facts. Wise was caught on camera back in July 2023 acting as a lookout, while his co-defendants, 3 others total, were breaking into shipping containers. The operation spanned multiple nights and resulted in a significant haul, roughly $100,000 in stolen goods. But on the 3rd night, CSX Railroad police were ready. They'd staged surveillance, and that's when Wise was arrested. During questioning, he admitted to being the lookout, never inside the containers himself, but part of the operation all the same. Now, Wise doesn't have any prior felony convictions, though he did use first offender status when he was 17 for burglary, so that option was off the table. Instead, his attorney requested conditional discharge, citing Georgia's allowance for such in non-violent property crimes where substance abuse is a contributing factor. Wise has been open about his past struggles with prescription pill dependency, and his attorney connected that to his lapse in judgment. Ms. Stewart stressed that Wise has been clean and charge-free for nearly 2 years since the incident, an important factor that helped the court consider a more lenient path. Wise's story came through clearly in his own words. He's the primary caregiver for his 2 children, aged 4 and 13. He's currently employed as a groundskeeping supervisor at Southview Cemetery, overseeing a crew of 7. And how did he get into cemetery work? His mom made him apply when he was 18. Since then, it's been his trade first at Westview and now at Southview, where he got promoted shortly after starting. The judge was clearly impressed by the turnaround, joking lightly about Wise being a cemetery guy and asking about the challenges of managing a team. Wise answered with humility and confidence. The sentence? 5 years probation on each count, all running concurrently. The state also reserved the right to hold a restitution hearing, but Wise's involvement may not result in a full financial burden since nothing was confirmed stolen on the specific night he was present. Additional conditions include taking an anti-theft course, completing 60 hours of community service, obtaining his GED if not already done, and staying employed. The court also imposed a stay-away order from CSX properties in Fulton County, though there was some back and forth about whether that should apply statewide. The judge kept it local with a lighthearted reminder that unless Wise becomes a train operator, he shouldn't be near rail yards. This hearing wasn't about excusing criminal conduct. It was about making space for a man to grow past it. Mr. Wise stood there not as a repeat offender with nothing to lose, but as someone who'd already begun to turn things around before ever being sentenced. And the court saw that. That's justice done right. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one.